Social intelligence isn't about manipulation or fake charm. It's about understanding the invisible rules that govern every human interaction and using that understanding to create outcomes where everyone walks away satisfied. The people who seem to effortlessly get what they want haven't stumbled onto some secret trick. They've learned to read the room, manage emotions, and navigate the unspoken dynamics that most people ignore. Every conversation you have operates on two levels simultaneously. There's the surface level, which is the actual words being exchanged, the explicit content of what people are saying. Then there's the deeper level, which is about status, emotion, identity, and relationship. Most people only pay attention to the surface level. They focus on what's being said and completely miss what's actually happening. When someone tells you they're fine, but their body language screams otherwise, that's the two levels diverging. When a meeting is supposedly about one topic, but everyone in the room knows it's really about something else entirely, that's the deeper level at work. When you ask for something directly and get rejected, but someone else asks for the same thing differently and succeeds, they're operating on the level you missed. The first upgrade to your social intelligence is learning to read emotional states accurately. Not what people claim to feel, but what they're actually experiencing. This isn't about being psychic. It's about paying attention to tone of voice, facial expressions, body language, energy level, and the gap between what someone says and how they say it. Most people are terrible at this because they're too busy thinking about what they want to say next. They're rehearsing their response or waiting for their turn to talk instead of actually observing the person in front of them. They miss the micro expressions, the slight shift in posture, the change in vocal tone that signals something important just happened emotionally. Practice this by spending one full conversation doing nothing but observing. Don't worry about being interesting or clever. Just watch and listen. Notice when someone's energy rises or falls. Notice what topics make them lean in versus pull back. Notice the difference between a genuine smile and a polite one. You'll be shocked at how much information you've been missing. The second upgrade is understanding that everyone you meet is constantly asking themselves one question about you. That question is, does this person make me feel good or bad about myself? Everything else flows from how you answer that question. People don't remember what you said or what you did nearly as much as they remember how you made them feel. This is why genuinely confident people who make others feel valued tend to get what they want more often than insecure people who are trying to prove something. When you're secure, you can afford to make other people feel important, smart, interesting, and capable. When you're insecure, you unconsciously compete with everyone around you, making them feel small so you can feel big. The irony is that making others feel diminished makes them less likely to give you what you want. They might comply out of fear or obligation, but they'll resent it, and they'll look for opportunities to avoid helping you in the future. Make someone feel capable and valued, and they'll go out of their way to assist you, because helping you reinforces their positive self-image. This doesn't mean fake flattery or insincere compliments. People can smell that from a mile away, and it has the opposite effect. It means genuine curiosity about others. It means asking real questions and actually listening to the answers. It means noticing what people are proud of and acknowledging it. It means giving credit generously and taking blame when appropriate. The third upgrade is recognizing that timing matters more than most people realize. The exact same request made at different moments will get completely different responses. Ask someone for a favor when they're stressed, distracted, or in a bad mood, and you're setting yourself up for rejection. Ask when they're relaxed, in a good mood, or feeling successful, and suddenly they're much more likely to help. This seems obvious when stated plainly, but watch how people actually operate. They ask for raises right after making a mistake. They try to have difficult conversations when everyone's tired and irritable. They pitch ideas in contexts where nobody's in the right headspace to consider them. Then they conclude that people are unreasonable or that what they want is impossible, when really, they just had terrible timing. If you want something from someone, your job is to engineer the conditions where they're most likely to say yes. That might mean waiting for the right moment. That might mean putting them in a good mood first. That might mean choosing the right environment for the conversation. People who consistently get what they want are almost always people who understand that context shapes outcomes. The fourth upgrade is learning the difference between positions and interests. A position is what someone says they want. An interest is why they want it, what underlying need they're trying to meet. When you argue about positions, you get stuck in win-lose scenarios. When you understand interests, you can often find solutions that satisfy everyone. Someone tells you they need the report by Wednesday. That's their position. But why Wednesday? Maybe they have a meeting Thursday and need time to review. Maybe they're worried about looking unprepared. Maybe they're trying to impress their boss with quick turnaround. If you understand the underlying interest, you might be able to offer an alternative that works even better than Wednesday. Most conflicts happen because people defend positions without ever discussing interests. Both sides dig in, each convinced the other is being unreasonable, when in reality they might have compatible interests that could be satisfied in multiple ways. Ask, why is that important to you? Ask, what are you trying to accomplish? Ask, what would success look like? These questions shift the conversation from positions to interests. The fifth upgrade is understanding reciprocity and social debt. Humans are hardwired to want to repay favors and to resent feeling indebted. This creates a powerful dynamic you can use ethically. When you do something genuinely helpful for someone with no immediate expectation of return, you create goodwill that makes them naturally inclined to help you later. The key word is genuinely. Strategic favors that feel transactional don't create goodwill. They create suspicion. People can sense when you're keeping score or when your generosity has strings attached. But when you help someone because you actually care or because it's the right thing to do, that creates real social capital. This also means being strategic about when you call in favors. If you're constantly asking people for things, you drain your social capital faster than you build it. If you never ask for anything, you're leaving value on the table, and you might even make people uncomfortable with unreciprocated debt. The skill is maintaining a healthy balance where you're both contributing and receiving. The sixth upgrade is learning to manage your own emotional state. You cannot read others clearly when you're anxious, angry, defensive, or desperate. Your own emotional noise drowns out the signals you need to perceive. People who seem naturally socially intelligent are often just people who've learned to stay calm and centered in interactions. When you desperately need something from someone, they can feel it, and it often makes them pull away. Desperation shifts the power dynamic in ways that make people uncomfortable. When you're angry, you miss subtle cues and you say things that damage relationships. When you're anxious, you fill silence with nervous chatter instead of letting conversations breathe. Practice entering important interactions from a place of groundedness. That might mean taking a few deep breaths first. That might mean reminding yourself that this one conversation isn't life or death. That might mean visualizing a positive outcome. Whatever gets you into a state where you're present and attentive rather than reactive and scattered. The seventh upgrade is understanding social proof and authority. People look to others to determine what's acceptable, valuable, or true. If everyone else seems to think something is a good idea, that makes others more likely to agree. If someone with credibility endorses something, that lends weight beyond the actual argument. This is why testimonials work. Why getting one respected person on board with your idea makes it easier to get others. Why being introduced by someone trusted is more effective than cold outreach. You're not just presenting yourself or your idea, you're presenting it in a context of social validation that makes it easier for others to say yes. You can manufacture this ethically by building genuine relationships with respected people in your field or community. By getting early wins with credible adopters. By collecting and sharing genuine success stories. By positioning yourself adjacent to authority and credibility rather than trying to claim it directly. The 8th upgrade is recognizing that people need to feel like they chose freely. Even when you're influencing an outcome, the other person needs to feel like they made the decision themselves. Heavy-handed persuasion or obvious manipulation triggers resistance. Gentle guidance that preserves autonomy gets compliance. This is why giving options works better than making demands. Why asking questions that lead someone to your conclusion is more effective than stating the conclusion directly. Why letting someone think something was their idea makes them far more committed to it than if you claimed credit. Frame your requests in ways that emphasize the other person's agency and choice. Instead of, "You need to do this," try, "What do you think about this approach?" Instead of, "The only option is," try, "We could go this direction or that direction. What makes more sense to you?" You're still steering toward an outcome, but you're doing it in a way that feels collaborative rather than coercive. The 9th upgrade is learning to handle objections and resistance gracefully. When someone says no or pushes back, most people get defensive or argumentative. This almost never works. Resistance met with more pressure creates more resistance. The socially intelligent response is curiosity about the resistance. "Help me understand your concern" is more powerful than any counter-argument. When you actually listen to why someone is hesitating or objecting, you often discover the real issue isn't what they stated first. They might say they don't have budget when the real issue is they don't trust you yet. They might say they're too busy when the real issue is they don't see the value. Once you understand the real objection, you can address it directly. Or you might realize that this isn't the right time or the right person. Not every no can be turned into a yes, and trying to force it damages the relationship. Sometimes the socially intelligent move is gracefully accepting the no while leaving the door open for future yes. The 10th upgrade is understanding that different people have different communication styles and values. What convinces one person will bounce off another. What makes one person feel respected feels cold to someone else. The ability to flex your approach based on who you're talking to is crucial. Some people need data and logic. Others need emotional connection and stories. Some people want direct communication. Others prefer indirect approaches that preserve face. Some people value efficiency and brevity. Others feel rushed if you don't build relationship first. Your job is to figure out what the person in front of you needs and adapt accordingly. This doesn't mean being fake or losing your authenticity. It means having range. It means being able to speak multiple dialects of human interaction. You're still you, but you're adjusting your presentation to match what will land with your audience. Start applying this immediately by picking one upcoming interaction where you want a specific outcome. Before that interaction, think through what you know about the other person. What do they care about? What emotional state are they likely to be in? What underlying interests might they have? What communication style do they prefer? Then enter that interaction focused on them rather than on your script. Notice what happens when you shift from trying to convince someone to trying to understand them first. Notice what happens when you make them feel valued rather than challenged. Notice what happens when you time your request well and frame it in terms of their interests. Social intelligence isn't magic. It's just paying attention to the game everyone's playing and learning the actual rules instead of the ones you wish existed.